So, hi everybody. For those who don't know me, I'm Leland. And like Michelle mentioned, I am a marketing and design consultant. So I help working with a lot of small business with their website and building their marketing communication strategy. So today, uh, we are going to talk about AI, and this is an intro AI workshop. I sound like a teacher. I do teach eighth grader, but on the side as well. So I wanted to sort of do a quick. This is going to be a very interactive classes workshop, and so you can ask question throughout if you want. And I have also let you guys know that you have to have, we're going to be using ChatGPT and Canva today as
So
a
we have
gateway.
a computer,
You can do it, you should probably do it on your computer,
if you can.
especially if you can. You can do chat on your phone, but when we get into Canva, you probably want a bigger screen on your computer. So that said, I think I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Let me see. I think you would need to give me permission to share. Yeah.
Leland, co-host. There you go.
I will have many different tab opens. I think you guys will do the same. So I'm going to do, yeah, I will. Let me share my screen. So I wanted to see how many of you guys kind of maybe raise a hand have used, when we talk about AI, we talk about generative AI. Okay. So AI has been existent for however many years, 20 years. How many of you guys use generative AI? Raise your hand. I see Michelle, I see Julie, I see Tina. Okay, and well, a few people here, right? And then what are and if you're new, this is fine. This is the intro. And what tool do you use it normally for your generative AI? You can type in the chat.
Yeah, type it in the chat.
If you can look at the chat, because
I can look at the chat.
Okay.
Good morning, Kat.
And what do you use it for? What do you normally, or anybody wanted to jump in and unmute yourself and say, what do you use it for? And what platform, what tool do you use? Gabby?
I use ChatGPT to help me structure my writing, or if sometimes I want it to, I don't have it actually write for me, but sometimes it's easier if I have like a long PDF that I just read and I like want to have it find me quotes.
Sure.
Sometimes then like it just makes it quicker and
yeah. So so when we talked about generative AI, most of we talk about content, right? That's why today's topic is about content creation for your marketing. Generative AI means that it can create new content for you, right? So that's the basis of it. So what we are going to dive in is to see how generative AI can help you create your a block for your marketing and then transfer that block into your social media posts. So that's basically what we are going to do today.
I wanted to just share what I use, which my husband actually is a data scientist, and he always, whatever his new AI thing he's using, he's like, you should use it too. But yeah, so you asked what Perplexity is. That's another free platform. Like it's basically another ChatGPT, but it's made by Perplexity. And then Gabby was like, oh, a lot of students use it for their papers.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
So why would I use ChatGPT versus Perplexity?
Well, the reason I use Perplexity is I like the format that it answers my questions. Yeah. So I'll say, hey, write me a description of why eating loquats is good for my health.
Yes.
And then it'll write out the description, and then it puts in a format, and then it also gives you where it's from, and it has like a bibliography, which is nice. That's why I use that. Andrew, my husband, he does like some game design, data science stuff. He uses Claude, but and then they have and then Gabby uses Claude. See, all the young people use the newest stuff.
So do you feel like the young people started on ChatGPT and then they moved to these other platforms? So as we were talking about, just so that you guys know, when Chia's husband is a data scientist, so she's been using it for a long time. And so we're talking about actually different platforms that you can use instead of ChatGPT. So I was having a little bit of conversations with Leland about this yesterday. So for me, my challenge when I use ChatGPT is actually I tend to take the harder road. I copy paste it into a Google Doc, right? And then because it probably knows I've been doing that, more recently it asked me to transition things into Canva. I don't like using Canva. And so like it's like an interesting thing for me when I'm using it. Maybe these other apps are actually better.
Well, I think Leland's going to teach us stuff today because we're doing it the old school way, the
Yeah.
cut and paste.
Yeah,
which
totally.
My husband also is like, why are you doing that? Just tell Perplexity to do that. Just tell it to do the article.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I was cutting and pasting the stuff I was asking Perplexity and then putting into Google Doc. And he's like, you can tell it to generate the image with the,
Are
yeah.
you done?
So
I'm trying.
anyways,
Focus then.
we need to learn the tools. And as Gabby was saying, the college students, like whatever tools come out or whatever their friends are using, they're like, oh, let's use this new tool
like
because
my
it cuts
best
out.
friend told me about Claude because there's certain ones that they specialize in certain skills. So like Claude is really good for writing.
Yeah.
So it really like makes you like chat sometimes. It gives you like the same, just like the paragraphs will be really repetitive. And not that you're like using them to like copy and paste them into your essays and stuff, but sometimes it's like it doesn't give you necessarily what you want unless you feed it a very specific.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
what I
Yeah,
find about,
very
that's
good.
what I was talking about with strategic thinking. I find that like chat is, I'm
But it's
admitting you.
because then it makes you still like work. Because when people are like,
Yes.
"Oh, it's making you lazy,"
Yeah.
it's like
It makes you do
everything.
the research
Yeah.
because you have to process the information.
Yeah.
I
too.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you guys are using chat or are any of you using Perplexity or Claude? No. Okay. So are you guys using it mostly for social media posts or are you using it for writing? What are you using it currently? Do you do research with it? I will tell you. Pardon, share screen?
Permission to share.
Oh, share screen. Sorry, one
Sorry,
second.
yeah.
So like for me, I'll give you another example of how I used it that was actually super helpful over the weekend. So I received this Chinese coin when I was actually in Bali. Like all of the women received it from this healing ceremony. And honestly, I personally, like, of course, can't read Chinese. So, oh, I think we're ready. Hold on. But anyways, the long and short is when I was so we were actually getting it like framed at the jeweler downtown. And she said to me, I said, well, I don't know which is the right way. I mean, this looks like a Chinese character. And she's, by the way, Korean. And so she's like, I don't know. She goes, you know what are we doing? Just take a picture of it and put it in ChatGPT. And I go, oh, really? You can use it for that? And she was like, yeah. So let me tell you something. It not only spit out what the Chinese characters were, but then I said, which is the right direction. It told me exactly the right direction to put it in. Then, in addition to that, it basically told me what the historical meaning was of this coin and when the coin actually came about and was produced. So we can use it for hard things like research that like normally I'd be like, let me find my Chinese friend. Maybe she knows
And
what
then
it
we have to
is.
go to the Library of
Yeah.
Congress to like look up the day of the microfilm or whatever. And it's like all the
All right.
Exactly.
So,
Woo! We're here now.
tell from Michelle, it's like you can go deep into AI. You can use it for whatever you want, but our focus today is on marketing. So can
Okay.
you unmute and then I'll mute.
Unmute. Got it.
You mute yourself up. Got it. All right, so let's get back to work. All right. So we talked about generative AI. So today, this is sort of the agenda we're going to go through. We're going to talk about how do you ask the right question, prompt engineering, and then we're going to dive into the use case of writing a blog using ChatGPT, and then based on that blog, we're going to create social media posts in Canva. Again, we talked about all this different type of platform that we can use, right? Those are the generative AI platform, and they use large language model to build it. And it's a multimodal because it can create and make text, image, video, and code. It can write a code for you. So that's why people say AI is going to take over. It's going to take over some of the stuff.
Already has.
But yeah, so the AI is now, it's not the future. So we focus on ChatGPT and all this different platform. I encourage you to try it. You can provide the same prompt to all try out different platform. Different platform has different purposes. DeepSeek is the one that can show a lot of reasoning to you. And Claude, again, a lot of, like Gabby said, Claude is more a more safe place, more, I guess, more social responsible GPT. And Copilot is for Microsoft, Gemini is for Google. So if you have like, it's mainly helping with your productivity. With Gemini, if you have Google Workplace, it can help you, look at through your email, generate your email, look at your documents, summarize your documents. So it's more of a productivity type of AI. So again, there's a whole host of other stuff out there, but I just want to make sure that for this, we want to be focused on ChatGPT. Okay. So now how to AI, right? Like we say, AI is your smart assistant, right? Like anything else, you are the owner. You are the head of marketing, and you want to give direction to your assistant, right? Your assistant is only as good as the direction you provide and you communicate. And before you start sort of thinking about how to use AI, you want to be able to define your goals, right? And you want to use AI to what? To write or edit, your a blog post, or you want to use AI to get idea. How do I create a social marketing strategy? Or you want to ask a question, like what Michelle did with a coin. She wants to find out more, or you want to deep dive to do research, right? So there's different goals that you want to achieve on how you want to use AI. And again, we talked about the type of content that generative AI can create, right? They can write a copy for you, create image for you, create video for you, and can even provide code for you, right? For a programmer. And as you kind of wanted to generate your content, you want to tell AI who's your target customer, right? So like I am creating a curriculum, for me, for example, entrepreneurship for 8th grader class. So AI knows who you're targeting, who you're trying to build this content for. So that's like anything else, you want to be very clear on that upfront. And then you wanted to choose the right tool, right? Again, there's so many different tools. They do copy, they do image, they do video, right? And finding the right tool, then after that, you get in through this iterative process, right? You want to start writing a prompt, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Sorry, unmute.
Anybody ask a question?
So I have a question. Anytime you guys have a question, you could ask in the chat. But so for example, what you're describing to me is the way we teach marketing.
Yes.
Right? So it's I call them 4 Ps.
Yep.
It's other people say 3 Ps, but it's product, positioning, price. And I always use placement, right? Placement is like, where do you want it on shelf? It's
Right.
It's a detail, but it's
Yeah.
also, yeah. Oh, did they? Okay.
It's like
We didn't
even
used to do that.
7P nowadays.
Yeah,
It
it's
used to be 4 Ps.
important though,
Right.
that you position and you ask the right questions to get its strategy, right? The answer you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because again, this is focused on marketing content creation. So you are the head of marketing, right? So this is what you're looking for before you start getting into utilizing your AI. So writing prompt, it's a whole big thing about prompt engineering. How do you write a prompt? Garbage in, garbage out, right? So what you wanted to do is you wanted to basic prompt. You can start with basic prompt, right? You don't need to be an expert at engineering your prompt. A prompt is the direction that you provide to the AI, right? Which is your assistant on what you want them to achieve. So the basic element is, what do you want to do, right? You want a copy, you want image, you want a video, and what type of format, right? I want it in PDF. I want it to be in a web blog, a newsletter format. I want it to be in email format. in what context, right? The context is very important because you want it to be specific, right? You can't just ask AI, oh, can you just be helpful? No, but can you give me 5 actionable steps I can take to do X, Y, Z, right? So you wanted to create a context to your assistant, so that, the AI can best support you, right? So writing the prompt, it's important. And then once you ask your question and whatever has come back, you need to review it, right? Again, AI is trained, use the model. It's widely available, huge database. Sometimes they're necessary real news, right? So you need to make sure you want to check the accuracy, right? So you want to make sure the information is correct. Some, like Gemini, it will have a note to tell you where it sources from. And sometimes you do need to do your own research, in addition to when you get the answer. So you are the one that are actually really curating, vetting the result coming out of your AI. So you first you check the accuracy, and also you want to make sure, does it sound like your brand? Do I really talk? I want to talk professionally, or I want to be fun, I want to be witty. So you want to make sure that it's stay with the tone of your brand, and then also stay relevant to your customer, right? Or who you're talking to, or even your client. Um, and then as you go through that, and you can fine tune the prompt, ask deeper question. It's a sort of a chain of a command you provided to your AI assistant. Um, and then sometimes, especially ChatGPT, I think is pretty good at it. It will come back to say, hey, do you want this, right? Do you want that? And you can follow through the conversation and to help getting closer to get what you want. Any questions? Okay, right. Okay. So now let's talk about prompt engineering. Again, we say better prompts create better result, right? So based on the 3 basic things that we just talked about, right? Know what you want, what format, and providing context. And you want to be very specific and be clear. And it's a conversation, right? You're having a conversation with your AI. And then as you go deeper, you give progressive direction. And then you always, always edit and stay on brand, right? So you don't want to, again, it's you want to make sure like everything fits into what you wanted to
I just want to say one thing about that, to jump in here, because this is the
Mhm.
coach in me. So I think one of the things that people do often, whether it be looking for a job, whether it be looking for their ideal client, whether it be launching their brand, is they're not clear on who they are. Okay. And so clarity in any situation, whether it be a relationship or launching a company, of who you are and how you want to show up in the world is extremely important. So this is where we go back to, like, what are my values and how do I want to represent myself, right? And so I will say that when I use chat, I think it's interesting because I always use this terminology around being multidimensional beings, is that it prompts me like, are you looking for a spiritual prompt, Michelle? Or are you looking for this? Is this more related to business? And I'm like, very interesting. You know me. Because sometimes I can be very serious, right? And like in this moment, right? I when we're talking about marketing, I tend to get very yang, but when we're talking about more spirituality, that's when I lean more into the softer side of me. But we're both. Now, people try to pigeonhole us, but you need to actually decide, like, how do you want to show up in any situation? Like some of the people on the call, we've talked about outward communication styles and presentations. When you first become like really into your spirituality, say, you tend to be parroting what people say, and you haven't actually identified or defined for you how you want to talk about it. So I always tell people things like, for example, clearly everybody on this call knows how spiritual I am, but I don't sit walking around with like a turban or wearing a white gauzy dress all the time, because that's not my brand. Because I like to be accessible to people. I like people to know you can be spiritual and still be normal. Okay? And so think to yourself about what you want for your own brands.
Yeah. No, I think that's very important, right? Clarity, 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 and be specific. So as you can see from this graphic, right? This is sort of like, what's hot out there, right? People are talking about how to write prompt, right? You can tell your GPT act as a, coach, as a, marketing director, and ask them to certain task and show a certain format and give whatever context problem, give me some example and clarify your goal, right? And then can you give me 5 useful steps? So those are sort of like the basic sort of thing that you can kind of think about, right? But again, a lot of it should come naturally as how you wanted to ask question, and don't get hung up on like, am I writing the perfect prompt? And you can always ask AI to refine your prompt.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Totally.
I actually also want to just say one thing. You can go forward, but it is also don't also be afraid to ask your network. So yes, AI is our friend and our assistant, but don't be afraid to ask your network to help you refine how you want to be seen either. So I believe the human contact component of it is still super important when it relates to this kind of thing, because I have what I like to call a personal board where I approach them to ask them for feedback specifically about like how they use certain things in me or whatever it is, because it's important. It's part of the process of redefining you,
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I have
Sure.
a question? This might be rudimentary, but when you're writing the prompt, are you supposed to put the task in the brackets?
No. I haven't even get into the slides
Okay,
yet.
go ahead.
So
Sorry.
that's my
Well,
slide.
shut up now.
This is my creativity at works here. So here's just kind of brief example, right? So if I want to try to get an idea, and could be the prompt I wrote, right? I'm looking to develop a comprehensive social media strategy for a clean cosmetic brand and eco-friendly wellness customer. I would like some ideas on the. So this is basically just to show you the breakdown, right? So you wanted to be able to. I'm clicking on it. Okay, you want to be able to show what's your goal, right? My goal is that's where the bracket come from, right? And you want to have the key element, right? Because you can just talk as normally giving directions, but if you want to break it down to look at different element in your prompt, right? So you wanted to tell your AI what's your goal, right? And you have to give them the context of what type of customer is you're targeting. And then the task is to give me some ideas, right? And then the result you want to see, you can say increase brand awareness, increase engagement. I want to launch a new product. I want to increase customer loyalty. You can list out whatever the result that you want, right? And then have an effective media presence in today's landscape, right? We know social media keep changing. So then that's kind of just my bracket here is just to break it down into the different elements here that you see, keep in mind when you start writing the prompt. Okay.
Very comprehensive.
Okay.
Very comprehensive.
All right. So
It is. It's good.
All right. So now I want you to open up your ChatGPT.
Okay.
If you can, on your separate screen.
I think mine's already open.
Okay. So when you open up so I want to kind of just quickly on this slide, there is a custom instruction under your little window. Okay, I'm gonna open up my chat. Okay. Can you see my screen, right? So here on your window, you clicked on it, and you can say customize chat. Okay, you guys can see my screen, right? Click on, right? So what you see here is Michelle, because I'm going to use Empower purpose.
Okay.
So you can quickly just, hence if anybody who, I don't know if you know this feature, if you have used this, put your name on it and talked about what you do, right? Because write it all for yourself. So I put Michelle, I said, I'm a transformational coach. I'm a trans coach.
Hey,
Transformational.
I do it all.
Coach
What can I
helping
tell you?
people through their career or life transitions. Okay. And then, basically you can say, whoever you're doing, like I don't know, for me, right? I'm a marketing and design consultant helping client to build website and just whatever is a general not sell. So this whole point here is you kind of define yourself first, right? And then when you start asking question from the chat, and chat will try to, now they already know, right, who you are, and they will try to give you the answer that fits your profile.
And remember this, okay? Because I know most of the people on this call are in my generation. There's no perfection with
Yes.
chat, okay? So just because you asked it a simple question and you didn't refine it, it's okay. So just keep going deeper.
Right.
Because I know a lot of times, like having coached so many people, they'll be like, I don't know, right? And you're like, great. Well, what do you know? So ask it what you do know then. And then as you start to see more prompts, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then refine, refine, refine.
Right. So this is basically a sort of how you set up your chat before you even started it, right? So you can see my screen, right? So let's say I'm Michelle. I want my whatever the information I want to be direct, friendly, approachable. So you can kind of put a little bit of the tone that you want for your brand, for you're trying to achieve in here. And there's some suggestion here. You can click on it, like be witty, and you say use quick and clever humor. Okay, I already use it, so on there already. So somewhere here, and then there's like anything that you don't want chat to have, right? Because I know ChatGPT sometimes create a lot of hyphen. So even though they still give you result with hyphens, but it will minimize it and make sure it always sounds like a human. And then what you would do is you can actually turn this on and off, and you can change this as you wanted to. Let's say you can, I have a spreadsheet slash work document with all my prompts or all my um, profile in there, right? So that's it. If I want to change to Leland and marketing design consultant, and I want it to be professional, blah blah blah, and then I can put it on and use it for my new chat. So you can customize the profile, and each time when you want to tap into the chat to talk about different things. I'm sure we all, again, Michelle said we're all multidimensional. So if we want to do research, we want the chat to wear this hat, and we give the personality for this type of personality, we want to wear that different hat and provide different personality. So then you do, you can turn this on and off, right? So enable it for new chat. So I save it, right? So now in my chat GPT, it's enabled, right? So now what you want us to do is you can start writing a new a question. So what I'm going to demo here is I have it on my Word doc here. So I'm gonna write a chat about EmpowHer. Okay, I'm gonna ask ChatGPT to write a blog for me. Okay, so what my prompt here is. I want you to review the voice and tone in the blog post on empowerpurpose.com website and write a blog post that is similar in length as the other blog posts. The topic will be top 10 benefit of working with the coach to help people through different transition in life. Wow. It should cover personal life stage, transition, and professional career shift. Okay?
Can you save this?
Yeah, I have it.
No, I'm joking.
Okay, so
maybe I should be doing that.
So now hit enter, right? I go in, and you can write whatever your business is. I wanted to write a blog, but I wanted to review, because one thing about GPT is, again, it's trained on the past data, but it can search online. So it go to Michelle's website, do a research, right? So it come out with a fairly kind of basic information right here, right? And what you can do is if you want more, you can ask chat. Okay, sorry, I keep having the screen at the bottom. I need to move you guys. The Zoom. I want to type. Okay, right. So I say,
I have to go potty.
can you refine? Okay, let me see.
Trying to hear that.
And what you, if you don't really like it, right? Oh, no, you don't like it. So the prompt that I just provide, it's detailed, but it's not too detailed. Okay. So I wanted you to say to you, can you refine the prompt for me? Okay. And explain. Okay. So you can see that. Again, don't sweat on writing the prompt, right? So if you write a very basic prompt and the answer kicks out, and you can ask ChatGPT to refine your prompt, right? And then as you, again, it's a learning process for people who are new to this, is you ask them to refine and ask them to explain to you why you refine, right? So this is the new prompt, right? And then it's tell you why. And it helps you to develop how to better write the prompt. Okay. So the refine prompt, right? So here's the new prompt. So I'm gonna just copy. It might ask me, would you like to me turn this into? Okay, I don't need that. So I'm just gonna copy and paste the refine prompt. We're all doing this together live. I haven't even. So I asked it to refine. So I used the new prompt coming from ChatGPT again, right? And then have it to write it. Okay. So then that it kind of create a blog post for you, right? And as you can see with chat, it will say, oh, do you want to adjust any part of this post or tailor it to further specific audience for platform? So you can kind of, it's a conversation, and you can go deeper. But I think I would recommend people who are new to this is it's probably using this on the small dosage. Like you can go down, to a rabbit hole. You can continue your conversation with ChatGPT forever, right? But so this is just an example of how you can write a prompt, see the answer, and then you compare, because sometimes the difference is not that great. Because I noticed, it give you a little bit more. You can say, okay, can you elaborate, right? So I can say, okay, can you, I'm just doing this live. Can you elaborate and provide further details under each point? Yeah, you can write whatever you can do whatever you want. That's the beauty of ChatGPT, right? Or generative AI, right? Because I can, so now it's under each point is a little bit bigger, a bit longer. Okay. So, and another thing is again, I'm focusing on ChatGPT, but you can also put this in Gemini. It will give you a different answer. You can put it in multiple platforms
and kind of
then
compare.
combine and compare.
I think part of learning is actually exploring. So I think, again, generationally, we sort of were taught that it was like right or wrong, and this is the path that you go. And this gives you the freedom, frankly, to explore and sort of be like, well, that guy says this is, it's almost like talking to 4 different friends, right? So I think it's important to compare and contrast.
Right. Yeah.
But I think like when Chia's question was, can you ask it to minimize and reduce the amount of sentences so that people heard? And it'll do that for you as well.
Yeah, it will do that for you. And you can even tell them write a 800 words blog post, or write instead of. So I say, well, instead of 10, right? Can you give me 10? Give me 5. Top 5 benefit. right? So that's, you can ask them. It will just provide similar stuff for you. So I don't know if you guys wanted to try, or we can continue to go down to creating social posts out of this.
So I guess my first thing is, please feel free to like unmute yourself. Oh, Grace is coming on the call.
Oh, I admitted.
Feel free to unmute yourself and ask any specific questions related to your business. So when you actually put this prompt into about your own business, did you find anything surprising? So for me, I think that the title is good, right? So those of you who read my blog posts know that they're very heart-centered, right? And it's very much around my personal experiences and my personal experiences specifically around coaching, right? But when I'm reading this, it's a little bit too vanilla for me. And I would probably come up with more creative lists, but it's a great base for me. Does that make sense? So again, in the way that in the beginning, Gabby said, I use it to help format for me and give me the structure. And then she refines it. It's a little bit like that for me, right? So I think that, when we talk about, for using myself, like, a transformational coach is meant to create change, right? Well, clarity in the midst of change, I'd probably talk more about transformation, because that is more of a buzzword related to my brand. So does anybody want to ask questions or have, because I think this is a perfect, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I know we're not using ChatGPT, but you mentioned Gemini, and it can search through your emails.
Ooh, wow.
So
Yeah,
That's
the
crazy.
Google Workspace,
Yeah.
if you have Google
But then
Workspace.
you're saying that it's kind of vanilla.
Uh-huh.
Like, if you're using Gemini, could you say, look through my emails and give me specific examples of block, and it will pull stuff like, maybe sometimes you're like, oh, you have a brain fart and can't remember that thing you did.
Yeah.
Palm Springs or whatever.
Exactly, all the time.
Yeah.
But then you can tell it to search instead of you trying to search, but then you're giving it access to your.
Yeah, like this blog post, right? I say, look at
My
Empower
website.
Purpose website. And,
Yeah.
and so you can say, yeah, and then it come up with the tone that is similar.
It was
to-
interesting. So speaking of that, like when I was playing on it last night, late at night, and asking it a lot of questions, I was asking about a specific person. And so to your point about like using the website, it pulled from all these resources, right? And said, I don't see anything specifically related to you in link with this person. But
Mhm.
this is actually how I can see, based upon both of your personalities,
Mhm.
how the relationship might work. And I thought, wow, that's fascinating that you're pulling from all our different resources and basically giving me a summary of how this might work. So
It's the intelligence of the part of the
Exactly.
AI.
yeah. So who needs a psychic anymore is what I'm going to say.
Julie has a
I just
question.
wanted to say, well, I just wanted to
I can't
say
hear
I've
Julie.
done a lot of research
I can't hear you,
on
baby.
personal.
Oh, is that our volume?
Can you hear
It's
me?
her volume.
Is it my volume?
Oh.
Let me turn my
Okay, now I can hear
volume
you.
up. Oh, okay.
Oh, why is it?
I have to use my headphones because my
Oh, it's me. Okay.
audio is not working.
Okay, no,
Oh,
it's
okay.
us.
You can hear me?
We hear in
Okay.
person, so our laptop echoes. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
just want to say I'm doing a lot of, well, this is personal stuff like research on golden visas in Portugal and, all this and I was asking a completely unrelated topic for Portugal, just something about like finances and something. And then it Copilot, which I guess is OpenAI, asked me, this really shocked me. It says, since you are thinking of retiring in Portugal, would you like to know how, that would tie in with this? But sorry, maybe I'm not explaining it right. It's
No,
just,
you
this
are.
is like, that completely blew me away because it like remembered from months ago, like I was doing this research and
Yeah.
it just brought it in without me even prompting it.
Right.
It's like completely learning all my interests and everything about me.
Yeah.
It shocked me. I don't know, but I guess that's
all your-
learning.
Yeah, I think all the information that all the question you ask, I mean, it's getting to know you, right? So
Yes, yeah.
sometimes when you go to AI, it would just be like, I know the other day ChatGPT pop up like, okay, I'm going to, like provide a summary, right? ChatGPT
Mhm.
pop up say, hey, do you want to see a summary of, how ChatGPT knows you? It summarized everything, including me, like my marketing work, my teaching work, my client work. So it summarized me as
Right.
everything together because I
You're like,
asked, yeah, all the different.
The other thing I want to say is I used it recently because I'm looking for small business loans for MempowHer.
mhm.
And because it knows my history, I asked it to give me the best options for small business loans. I've never told them I'm a minority. It pulled up,
Oh,
well, Michelle, because you're a minority woman, here are the best small business loan
yeah.
areas that you should look into. And
That's
so,
that's
again,
amazing.
don't just use it for writing. It's your research assistant.
Mm-hmm.
But, oops, sorry. Echoing. I was saying, but for today is about content creation. So you have to, I mean, again, ChatGPT, I mean, AI can do so many different things. And then you just, focus on, we're focusing on content creation for today. Um, so what I'm going to show you guys next is now you have this blog. I mean, I can even show you how you can create social media posts out of this blog. Or I guess Michelle can have a choice. Do you want, I did an example of using one of your blogs, it was already written, and make a social media post. Do you want to do
I'd like to
something like
use,
this
well,
one?
actually, interestingly enough, because I always feel like coaching posts are kind of boring. And I hate, like, I'm like, okay, I'm sure it'll ask me, do you want to scroll or not? I mean, a carousel, or I would love to hear how they think it would be best to approach this, to be honest with you, because I feel like coaching is so saturated. So to refine the wording, I think it'd be like, how do I stand out in a saturated market of transformational coaches by using these top 10 benefits?
Right. So you want to,
How do I position myself as a leader,
Right.
which I am,
Right.
but like there's 50 million coaches on there.
Well, and then you can kind of, type in your next question, right? It will be what you just asked me, right?
Okay.
So how can I stand out? It's like,
Yes.
can you give me what are the strategy for me to stand out, in
And
today's
craft a
landscape?
social media, yeah, in
Right.
today's landscape,
Yeah.
craft a social media post on that.
Right.
And it'll probably ask, do you want a carousel or a reel? I can actually
Yeah.
give you
So again, like you can continue to do that, right? You can do
Yeah, let's do it.
do that,
Type it in,
right?
type it in and see if that's what it says.
How can I craft a social media
Post
post
to stand out as a leader in the transformational coaching
stand out
space.
as a leader in the
Transformational.
transformational coaching space?
Now I'm going to refine it. Okay. Once it gives me an answer, I'm going to refine it. Great question, Michelle. I love that we're best friends. But I bet you if it was on my feed, it'd be different because my feed knows
Yeah,
me
you have
better.
different. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
So what I was gonna, my further question is this, okay? How, as a transformational coach that actually focuses on business and wellness, because that's really my niche.
Yeah, I mean, again, the framework, it's marketing.
Mhm.
It's nothing new, right? Again, like if you like you said, if you post it on your feed,
Oh, it's
it'll
gonna
probably
give me
you more
way,
stuff.
it'll like totally
Right,
prompt me.
right. So I think this is just an example, because I want to jump into Canvas.
Please.
So this is just an example on how you can continue and refine your prompt and to work with your AI assistant.
So I'll say something just quickly, because last week I did this post on like my bracelets falling off. Okay. And I had a different idea of what I was going to do. And I put it in AI, I put it in chat just to see what it said. And it said, I was challenging it on doing a reel versus versus a carousel. And it said, I would do it as a carousel because you're going to get more reach. And what I would do is start with oh my God, I lost my bracelets. And I have to say, I decided to take their approach.
Mhm.
And I didn't put anything behind it as far as
Sure.
like, $5 a day on ads or anything like that. And I got like great reach. And so I sort of wish, like the week before, I just did a plain video on asking my community for feedback on how I could grow my social media presence again, because
Sure.
it's saturated and I get like, it's frustrating. We put so much energy into it and nobody does it. Like, you're like, okay, well, that was a great post. So I think that it gives you amazing feedback
Yeah.
based on the algorithm.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially for people who are, Michelle, you and I are marketers. So again, we look at the results, spit out, it's like, no brainer, right?
Yes.
But a lot of small business owners, they don't,
No.
right? They
Yeah.
think it's still very valid. I mean, we look at it, we'll say, okay, it is no brainer, but it's correct.
Yes.
Right. So, okay, let's jump into, I'm going to use this prompt that I already created. So I want chat to review the blog post
I just did this blog last week.
on Michelle's website and turn into a different key takeaway they can use for Instagram posts. Okay. Sometimes you can say TikTok post, Instagram post, LinkedIn post, right? So it will spit up, right? So then it give you different idea, right? The title, the caption, the hashtag,
Yeah, it's crazy.
right? So it summarize, right? It summarize everything in the post. I mean, Michelle, right?
Yeah.
Those are the key points that you wrote in your blog post. Okay. So it want me to turn in visual engagement. So I'm not going to follow that because sometimes it takes a while for
I'll
it to
say one
generate.
thing.
I'm going to move it to Canva.
Yeah, totally. I think you should move it to Canva. But one thing I'm going to share with you that I've learned that I haven't been doing on my social media, and literally, like, to be honest, I've actually only been a devout follower of chat for like about 2 months. And it happened because a guy friend of mine, Scott Chalk, asked me, he's like, are you using ChatGPT right now? He's a producer. And I said, no, because it's like cheater. And he said, I'm going to give you a prompt that I need you to use for 1 month. And he's very spiritual. He's like, I want to see what you get back, because read what it said about me, and I think you'll be astonished. So I was like, fine, I'll commit to you. And then once I've been using this prompt, which is a very deep prompt, I was so, frankly, turned on. Like, I was like, ooh, this is fucking cool, that I wanted to go deeper, right? So what I would say to you is, what I learned from a social media perspective specifically, and I should know this as a marketer, is always lead them with a CTA, and that is call to action. And so what I would say is, it's very interesting. I didn't even know Leland was going to do this, but like, I literally, like, every post that it kind of gives me a suggestion on, the last slide is always, here's a suggestion on your CTA. I haven't actually been doing CTAs because I'm like, whatever, like, I just been thinking of it as a reel, not really like how to get them engaged in my brand. I'm not asking people to get engaged. It's in the same way, frankly, that when I'm in person with people, which many of you guys have been in workshops with me, breath work, a lot of things, I never close the deal.
Yeah.
What I would say is, I want to bring people together and community and connection, but I'm never like,
Yep.
sign up, bitches.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you? So then how am I to not complain about my
Right.
own self
Yeah.
when I'm the one who's not creating the ceiling of the deal?
Well,
It's my fault.
And also, you always have to have a CTA, but it doesn't need to be salesy.
Yes.
Right? It could be a CTA,
Yes.
say, maybe go check in with your friends.
Yes.
Share this with your friends. Like, any CTA will help some sort of engagement, right? You keep your follower engaged and wanted to kind of act.
Keep coming back for
Yeah.
more. Yes.
So she said that. So that's why I have a prompt ready, right? So in my mind, for social media posts, right, I want some visual idea. The title to me is a bit too short. I want a headline. I want some caption with hashtag, and I want a CTA. Okay. So now it give me those, right? So it's spitting it out, give you hashtag, give you all that stuff.
I love the fact that it gives you hashtags too. It's like saves me. It's a pain in the ass.
Yep.
So I will say I add more hashtags than it gives me.
Yeah. So you basically ask the elements that you want for your Instagram post, right? So now it has that. So what you can do is ChatGPT, actually Canvas has its own sort of custom GPT that bake into ChatGPT. So if you click on this side, there's different platform that connect with GPT. I don't really like to use Canvas within ChatGPT. I have a Canvas account myself, so I like to do it right there. But when you go back,
What does that mean? Are you copy pasting it in?
Yeah, because you can. So if you in GPT, right here, you clicked on here. It's different, and you can click ChatGPT. You can click Canva, right, and start. So when you start doing stuff, it's not bringing you to Canva. It's creating assets, right? Like let's say, can you create an image, an image of, I don't know, a cat.
Can it
Right?
Can it pull from your photos?
No, you have to.
Can you give it permission to pull from your photos so that way you don't have to look for all the photos and it's a lot of time?
That's I don't know. I think Gemini.
It would be
able to do
really, it would be awesome to be able to do that.
Wait, ready for photos?
Yeah.
I think Gemini can do it, and if you have it in your
I
Google
have
Drive.
Plus.
So when you pay for Plus, it gives you the more amenities.
Yeah.
And one of them being photos. Like for I had my study abroad class, and it was image theory, and he would ask us to use chat to like either you can upload your own photos, so that when you have the Plus, you can upload files. You can upload videos. You can still do it, I think.
Yeah, but it's
like,
limited.
yeah,
with
it's a
free
little bit
account,
more
right? You can
limited.
still do it.
Yeah,
You can upload file images.
Yeah.
Like you have. Yeah, I don't have the Pro because I'm kind of using all those different
Or you can
types.
use it for as many searches as you want. Like
Right.
it stops you at a certain amount of searches.
Yeah, I got the Pro now because of that. Because I was
Yeah.
because I was having too much fun asking it questions.
Louis
it's
had
like-
it, bro. Louis,
So I personally, I think it will improve, but I don't really like it because it takes a long time for it to create image, like because everybody's using chat.
When you were asking the questions, it kept saying, "Do you want to use Canva?" And it's like,
Yeah.
and then you like took it away.
Oh, did I?
When you were asking
Here, cat image request. It's a basic.
So I have a question. I have a question. I'm talking to you. So
See, it's my prompt is too short.
when I allowed it to link to Canva, because I am a habit person, and you know me, I get really, remember how long it took me to go onto Google? Instead of, I was like, no, you guys send me the document on Microsoft Word. I don't want to share documents. I don't want the whole world to know what I'm writing about. It's a secret, right? Well, okay, obviously I abandoned that. So now I get very like it's in Canva.
It's
I find
not
it
linking.
hard. It's
Okay.
bugging me.
No, you still need to work in Canva. So
It's bugging me.
the way the Canvas GPT, the way the Canvas GPT work in Chat GPT is if you again, this prompt is really quick. I wasn't even thinking, it's asking me. So when you actually create something, it will create something in the form of Canva. And then when you click on that image, it will take you to your Canva account. So you can edit it in Canva. Or you can download it as whatever the image is.
Can you just show us?
Can you show us?
No, when you were in coaching benefits, it kept asking, do you want to do?
Yeah. Oh, that's what you're asking. Okay. I thought you were asking. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do next. Okay. You are like, you know what the next agenda is. You know what the next agenda is. So what I would do is, I'm gonna introduce Canva bulk create for you guys.
What's that?
So what normally you can do is you can say, hey, can you turn into a table format with caption, headline, caption, hashtag CTA, or okay. And then you ask, so I say, because, okay, that's the reason I bring out Canva, because ChatGPT and Canva knows Canva, right? So he said, can you make them in the not CVS, CSV? Oops. They'll probably recognize I type it wrong. CSV file.
Analyzing.
Because I type it wrong.
CSV. I've never seen it say analyzing.
CSV.
Now it's really my friend if it's analyzing.
Okay. I think because
Why is it taking so long?
yeah,
it's
because
weird.
because I do the wrong. Hold on. No, ask. And like, okay. Can you
They're really
turn
these are
this?
really
Okay, see it. Okay, so it created a CSV.
Yeah.
Let me see if it's giving me the
If you
right.
want to heat it up, tell me.
So now
When you
I
tell me
downloaded
if you
it.
want to heat it up. A restroom over here
Oh,
on the right hand side. Go through the.
Okay. So I don't know if you guys can see it. Do I need to share? Can you guys see it on my screen? Oh, what's happening? Hold on, because I only share my.
I knew you guys like this. How could you not? What is happening?
So this is my other one. So when I asked, right, this CSV, right, not CVS, but it recognized. So it turned into a CSV file format for the bulk create. So it turned into, let me stop sharing. I'm going to share my desktop so you guys can see what I'm doing. So when I download that file, right, when I open it up, so this is what the file looked like. Okay, it opened in numbers, but it's a CSV file that works with Canva Create. So that's what the headline is here, the visual idea is here, the caption, right, you're gonna put for your post is here, and the hashtag is here, and the CTA is here. So it basically made what it spit up earlier.
Wow. And by the way, that's your social media plan right there too.
Into
Like you don't have to frickin' do 50 million sheets at one time. It's
Right.
like there for you. Wow.
Okay,
I'm
so
really not using it all the way.
so that's the CSV file that you can use and then plug it into Canva. Okay, so what I'm going to do is so we already done here. So I'm
Can
gonna
you
just
pull
give
up
a
some visuals? Can you ask it to put visuals so that way we could see how that's done?
it will, but it's gonna
It just
take
takes-
a little bit of time.
okay.
But I'm gonna just show you the function of Canva bulk create. Okay, so before we jump into bulk create, right? So it's basically the table you just saw, right? It will create each different post with pulling from that table, CSV file that you just download. So this is just a quick kind of preview of how do you
And
do
that
bulk
could
create.
that could be immediately saved in your Google Sheets.
No,
That was in numbers, you said?
It's when you export it,
Yeah.
it's a CSV file.
Okay.
So it will be in your download folder.
Okay, got it.
And then you can open it with Google Sheets or you can open it with numbers.
Okay.
And just because I'm Mac, so
Okay,
it
got
doesn't
it,
matter
got it,
number.
got it.
You can open it anywhere.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the base. Okay. So I'm gonna just introduce the capacity of bulk create in Canvas, right? So when you go into bulk create, you want to kind of create your template. You might already have your own template. And use that and you connect the data with that file, right? And then you create a series of social media posts, right? And then you can, after that, you can then adjust and then accordingly, right? Again, always edit and stay on top of your brand. So this is just a basic, but now we're gonna go, if you have Canvas on just open it up. I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. So you can see my screen. So now I'm going to create. Okay, I'm going to do an Instagram post. Okay. And if you have a post like images you like, or you can use whatever the template that you want, right? So let's say I'm just going to use this basic one, right? So I want to use, I don't know why there's two. So I can kind of create. So this will be my headline. And my caption will be in my captions. It's not going to be in my image. My caption and hashtag. So then this one, I want it to be my CTA. Okay. And then the image, again, you can add it later or you can add it here. But because what we have, I'm going to show you two ways of doing both create. So it's just a really basic format, right? And then you can add your logo. You know, I don't know if I have logo here. Let's see, I have different things here. I can just use that as a logo, right? So that's if this is my logo, so you can put your logo here. And then this, I say, okay, my headline, I'm gonna make it. I mean, I don't want to. Well, you can design in.
I'm gonna ask a question. Who here on this call uses Canva? Okay. Are you versed in Canva? Do you feel comfortable with it? Or is this is our membership? Yeah. This is our membership call, right? So what we're trying to do is help ourselves educate and move forward. So do we believe that we need to have a Canva tutorial?
Yes.
I do. So Lilan, can you do a Canva tutorial for us? Because as I sit and, I mean, not today, but as I sit and I watch you move through this very fluidly and quickly, because I know you're a designer, you can do this. But you make it look like this is what we're doing when we go on Canva, when I know this is not what I'm doing, because most of the time when I access the assets people create, I'm screwing it up. And they get irritated with me because I delete it all. And they ask me, or I have to ask them to redesign it. So can you do yes, okay, great. There's
I think that's what Michelle wants to hear.
Yes.
Okay, so what you can do, so I'm just doing it quickly. So I can add animation to my title, right? So I say, okay, so right now it's just whatever it is, right? So I'm designing my social media post template. I add animation, I add my logos always at the corner, and ask, this is going to be my CTA. I like to do it. I like to do it with the background here. Okay, whatever, right? So the basic design. Once you have this design, okay, what you can do, I guess I could just show you the power of it's Canva Pro. Yes. Because I don't do a lot of design, so I do Pro. But I think you should probably get Pro. They're not that expensive. But you can kind of just go in and where's my app?
Oh yeah, I think I paid. I got it for a job like 2 years ago, and then I think I just paid for it.
Okay, I'm not sure why it's not showing up on my. Okay.
Oh, you can? Yeah, you can.
Okay, so what you do is within app,
I'm sure
so you see on your left corner in Canva, this is like a quick tutorial, right?
She's already.
So you do a bow create. Bow create is an app. So you click bow create. Okay. So what you can do is you can enter your data manually, or you can upload your data. So I'm going to show you both way. Okay.
What does that mean? What do you mean by data?
Okay, that's the sheet that my
the sheet. Got it.
spit out. I'm going to show you both way because there are because
it probably formats it shitty.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry.
because what ChatGPT did do, because I didn't really, what is this? I can't move the screen. Okay. What is it? Sorry, I have
we're finally getting Lilan frustrated.
I have your I have the Zoom view keep blocking my toolbar.
You can minimize them.
So upload data, right? So in my download. So I see my file. Here's the file. right? The GPT just spit it out.
You know her.
I clicked it and click open. Okay. So now you can see the table. It has the headline, the visual idea, the caption, the hashtag, the CTA, right?
Yeah.
In here. So
Wow.
what I need to do is I'm gonna connect data. So I'm gonna put my headline here. And then I'm gonna only pull two things, right? Visual idea is not caption. I'm gonna write a hashtag. Okay. So what I would do is then what you do is you continue. And you want them to, say, I want a 10 post. It's gonna be boring 10 posts because the image is gonna be the same. So,
Wow.
so I hit create. So now it created in one file
Wow.
with all the 8 posts, right? So I'm gonna view it in folder. So it will say bulk, right? So this is what happened,
Wow.
right? So it put, right? So then you go in
And you
adjust.
refine the copy, but like other than that, it's like done for you.
It's pulling, right? Okay. So it is pulling stuff for you. You have your logo there, you have your design, and when you actually see the animations there, right? Okay.
Wow.
So you build everything in your template, and how do you want it to react, and you feed the data in. Okay.
Mm.
So that's one way of doing that. So whatever I design, I put animation on this text. I put an effect on this text, so I know based on what ChatGPT spit out, I wanted to put a headline here. I want to put CTA here.
Got it.
Right? And I didn't have any image from there.
Okay.
Right? So what I do is I go to the apps here.
Apps. Okay. Thank you.
And you search for bulk create.
Thank you.
Okay. And then when you click bulk create,
That's where it does it.
there's two ways of doing data. So what I just did is upload data. I'm going to show you again. Upload data. And then the data file. So this is the file that ChatGPT creates. And then it automatically, when you click it, it downloads to your download folder. So you click on here, right? Sorry, you guys are at the bottom of my screen. I can't get to my open. The Zoom space. Can I close the Zoom space? How do I close it? Oh, I close it. Yay! Thank you, Wenxia. How could I do it without you? So once you click that file, right, and it shows you what's in that CSV file has, right? So I asked ChatGPT to give me a headline, visual idea, caption, hashtag, CTA,
Got it.
right? In a table,
Totally. I remember.
CSV
Yep,
format.
got it.
So then, this is my design.
On each page,
Yeah.
Right. So now in my Canva, I clicked on this and I do connect data. So I want to connect this to my headline. And then I want to connect this. It's already here because I did it earlier. You click on it, did my CTA. So what you can do is then you hit continue, and you say continue. And then you said, do you want them to create
Got
all?
it. So that's when
this
I created all
different
8
things?
of them. Done.
Yeah. Okay. So one last thing is, I know we're running
get
out of,
overwhelmed.
I know we're running out of time because I actually have more, but let's just finish the bulk create. So we'll do another bulk create. Okay. So I'm going to use a template. I'm going to use a different template. I'm going to use this template. Okay. So I'm going to, I'm going to get rid of this. So this is going to be my, okay. And then my CTA.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you a different way of create bulk create. So, okay. So let's do bulk create again. I think we're finishing up after this bulk create, even though I have other stuff, but we can.
I
do
think
it
we
next
should
time.
not spend time on bulk create and go back to what you're doing.
Oh, okay.
Because bulk create is interesting, but most of the people on this call are not creating graphics like I am as much, right? There's a few.
Okay, but this one, okay, I'm going to just show you.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll do upload data. No, not upload data. I'll do enter manually.
Okay.
So it give you, I'm gonna fake it, right?
Oh.
I can copy whatever from my and paste in here. But the one thing I like is add image. So you can go to your Canvas folder, right? And then you can add images. Like, so I can add this one on this, and I can add this one and this. I'm just using two,
totally.
whatever, right? So then that's it. And then I wanted to then add data manually. So I added. Wait, why is it not letting me? Oh, because I'm not.
Because you're not John Smith.
I'm not.
You could be Jane Jones. JJ.
It's something missing.
My brain.
But anyway, so if you do it manually, what you would do is you get the data in there.
Don't get caught up in the details.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not connecting. I'm not using, but anyway, so when you early on, when you spit it out, you use the same background for each post, right? But if you have your image, like what I show you, you can add it manually. It will just spit out the background with different image. I mean, with the post with different image.
Yeah, that's
so then you don't
cool.
have to worry about going back to each pages to add
Yeah.
new image.
So
So
this is
that's
what
another
we'll
way
learn
of
with
doing it.
you in 2.0.
Yeah, probably.
Because
All right.
Okay.
No, because that's importing.
Oh, that's
Uh,
the CSV file.
Right. Okay, so now let's get back to I think the following presentation, it's actually all in Canva. So maybe we'll have to do a different Canva. So I wanted to the
I
next
think we need a different Canva presentation.
yeah, so the next one is talk about writing visual prompt. You know, doing image versus video. And then you can do that in Canva, right? So you can Canva doesn't really give you a lot of space for the prompt. You don't need to write a fancy prompt to do it, but it gives you like, you know, there's a different elements you wanted to put in. So I think
it's
we'll do
almost
it
like
next.
working backwards, not backwards, but like in the reverse.
Right.
So it's like working from the image to the copy versus working from the copy to the image. Is that what you're describing?
No.
Why am I writing a prompt in Canva then? Because that's a visual graphic tool.
Well, you have to write a prompt for it to
But am I
create
writing it in
image.
Canva or am I
Yeah,
writing
you're
it-
writing in Canva.
Exactly. So I'm
to create
I'm
image.
working the opposite direction then. Before I was working from ChatGPT into Canva.
Right.
Now I'm working from ChatGPT, sorry,
From
from
Canva.
Canva.
No, you actually the way I talked about image
Yeah.
and visual creation has nothing to do with ChatGPT.
Okay.
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 But you're writing prompt. You're writing
So
prompt.
you're telling me that Canva is
It has AI,
another
yeah.
AI app. Basically, so many apps have AI.
No, yes. So many platforms are using AI now, right? Like you know, I build website.
Yes.
Wix, they have Wix AI in there.
Yes,
when you
I've
write
seen that.
copy,
And so
it
does
will
MembHership.
Right. So every platform has a built-in AI to
Okay.
it. So Canva has its built-in AI. So when you go into Canva, you go into it's called Magic Media in Canva. So where you can create image, create graphic, or create video. And this is where you write prompts. But the prompt, like you can't really write a long prompt because it'll cut off
Okay.
in Canva.
So you have to be very
So,
specific.
so next time when we talk about Canva, we can ask Canva to create image or graphics is usually illustration. It shows like illustration image. And then it can create video for you.
Okay.
So I think that's probably more of a Canva workshop then.
I think we need a Canva
Yeah,
workshop.
so you can do it here. So that said, we're gonna just skip to the
Questions and answers.
The question and answer, the final next step. Start using ChatGPT. The more you write prompt, the better you get, right? And you can ask ChatGPT to help you refine prompt. So don't sweat on writing prompts because everybody was like, "Oh, you need to be a prompt engineer," whatever.
Prompt engineer. That's a new job.
I mean, it is a job that pays a
Make
lot.
more money.
But I think for us as a beginner user or casual user who start developing into becoming an
It's
expert,
like casual dating.
yeah, so you're getting and then explore other platform, right? And you use Gemini, use Claude, you get different answer, and then you can kind of
Yeah.
play with it.
Well, what I'd like to do first is thank you for being so comprehensive. It's so you. And
It is very me.
I mean, it's very you and it's very helpful. This is like a 2 hour, 2 to 3 hour workshop, to be honest with you. And I am so grateful.
Plus,
because
we have technical
we
difficulties
had
to
technical
begin
difficulties
with.
on top of it. So thank all of you for actually sticking with us through this process. But so number one, thank you. Number two, I'd love to open it up to anybody having any questions specifically for Leland. Again, this will be on our Facebook chat. It will also be a link in our Power Hour chat and also Project Broadcast. And want to thank everybody for participating. And this is the way we highlight the women who are part of our community. And please, highlight Leland, right? That's what we're here is to actually champion and cheerlead her too, so that her business actually becomes more successful. Okay? All right, questions?
Thank you guys.
Love you, Leland.
Pleasure. Always love to share and empower a fellow entrepreneur.
Anybody else have questions? Yes.
On the early stage, do you recommend us just using the free one, or should we like jump right in and get the?
I would say use the free one. Use the free one until you're comfortable. And I mean, all the stuff have paid versions, so you have to figure out which one works best for you. And then, I mean, unless you have a lot of money, they're not
It's not
very
expensive,
but it adds up.
Yeah,
right?
no, but what I would do is I would pick one and pay for that one, and then use the other free ones. That's what I would do personally.
I don't know how much you use it. I feel like if you're using it like every day for school or every day for work, then you can pay for it because your time is going out. However, I think what you can do also, well, actually I'm not sure, but sometimes when mine used to stop me, I would just open another tab and use it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You do?
Yeah.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah, a different login or different.
I didn't do that because I got afraid it was going to kick me.
Well, like if your friend is using it, maybe I don't know if you really care, or if she cares, or whoever cares about messing up with their algorithm and stuff. My friend would just give me the login, and you can split money or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I will say
Well, you
this.
can
My VA Amanda has many people she works with. So she, because of that, the algorithm for her sometimes gets a little weird, and so she has to readjust her prompts and stuff like that, because she's like, this is more representative of my other client. So I will say be careful of how many different types of sort of genres you're representing, I would say, right? Because then there's overlap and it gets confused on who it's again, who's your brand.
But
Right.
that's its problem.
That is its problem.
That's its problem, and you can just do whatever you. I feel like not do whatever you want, but don't be like.
That's your generation.
Yeah.
Sorry. I feel like that's sometimes if you when you're talking to Alexa or whatever and gets it wrong and you're
All the time.
Alexa, shut up. Sometimes I'll be chat, what are you talking about? Why are you giving me that? I didn't ask for that or something. And then I'll be right, I'll be right.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like,
Totally.
yeah.
So it's you don't have to be so serious, right?
Yeah.
And then it's having a conversation with somebody.
Yeah, I always wish them good morning.
It's your buddy,
all that
right?
kind
It's
of
your
stuff.
best friend.
Yeah, it is my best friend. It's
Right.
so my best friend.
But
Because I don't have anybody to talk to, so it's really
I like
my best friend.
yesterday on the live when you were like, oh, we should be able to name our own chat.
I think so too.
I think so too, especially if you're paying for it.
Yeah.
Name my
Give me my exactly.
Name your chat.
Friend is weird. I don't like that. I don't want to be that connected to.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of true though.
Because you heard stories about how
People
some kids,
fall in love with it.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's so weird.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You have to be.
But I mean, that's people that are very strange.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So,
Anyway.
ladies and gentlemen, does anybody have any other questions?